Hello, everyone. In today's video, we're going to go over how you can seamlessly integrate your HubSpot customer relationship management software, or CRM, to your Clio Manage accounts, which serves as your legal practice management software. So this is actually really easy and free. So you can go over to your HubSpot accounts, sign in, and go over to the Marketplace, and then click on App Marketplace. Here, you'll be able to search for Clio Manage from the search bar. You'll be taken over to the app overview so you can see which fields will map, and you can also see how much it costs, and you can see that it is free. So all we need to do is just say install app, then we need to say next, choose our domain. So this is referring to this section here in your Clio Manage account. So in my case, I have eu.app. Then we just say connect to Clio Manage and say allow access. Then we can just set up the sync now. And you need to set these up one at a time. So let's do the contact sync first and say next. Here we can configure this sync so we can make it to where it goes between the apps, or only one way to HubSpot, or only one way to Clio Manage. We can also choose which application is going to resolve data conflicts. So this makes it to where one will overwrite the other when it's unclear which app has the most up-to-date information. So in our case, we want to use Clio Manage. We can go down and we can see all of the ones that have already mapped for us automatically. We can then go over to limit and choose if we want to limit any of these syncs. And we can also make it to where we only sync contacts with an email address. So keep this checked. We can also limit which records sync. So in this case, we can make it to where we can edit this and we can choose the primary filter type or the associated filter type. And we can also toggle one or the other between creating new contacts and updating existing contacts in HubSpot, or only updating existing contacts in HubSpot. So in our case, we want to create new and update, and create new and update on both of these different sections. So we can then go over to organize and read through this information here, and then we can review our sync to make sure it's configured the way that we want it to. We can always edit in the future, and we can say save and sync. To then go on and set up our company sync, we can say sync more data. We can say company sync next. We can go through the same process where we double check which way we want this to go. We can overwrite with Clio Manage data over HubSpot data. We can double check to make sure that everything has mapped correctly, go over to limit and update any limits we want. We're going to keep the defaults in this particular case. We can read through this organize section and we can review our sync here and say save and sync. You can see that our company sync and our contact sync is now on. And now that these are on, you'll be interested to see that because I have two contacts here, and even though they are just sample contacts, you'll be able to see that they've successfully synced over automatically to our Clio Manage accounts with their names and their email addresses, as well as their addresses here. This is a very handy feature, and the reason why we're syncing it this way, because we can then use that for our Gavel accounts to create a Gavel automation with this information without having to do anything else. It's just automatically syncing between our HubSpot leads, our Clio contacts, and our Gavel integration. The last thing that we can sync is a matters status. So if you look here, you can see matter status, and we have three options: open, closed, or pending. This matter status can sync with a deal in HubSpot. So under sales, we have deals, and you can have a pipeline with these same stages of open, pending, and closed. By default, the different statuses are, or stages are: appointment scheduled, qualified to buy, presentation scheduled, decision maker bought in, contract sent, contract or closed won, and closed lost. To update these stages in HubSpot in order to map correctly over to our matter stages or statuses in Clio Manage, we can go over to our settings. So if you come here to settings, and you come over here to the left, you'll be able to see objects under data management, and you can come down to deals. Under deals, we can go over here to pipelines, and under pipelines, you'll be able to see those different stages that we just talked about. So we can go through and we can delete ones we don't need. So we can delete this one here, delete this one here, delete this one here, delete this one here, and then just change the names of each of these. So we have the options are open, pending, and closed. And as I mentioned, that is tracking over with this section here. We can also update the deal probability. So if a matter is closed, that means that we've won it or we've lost it if they've chosen not to work with us. But let's say that that's the one. Pending is going to be, let's say, a 50-50 chance. And then open, let's say, is in, let's say, 80%. So you can update these as you'd like. It's customizable to your preferences. So let's go ahead and save this now. And then we can go back to our sync settings. So if we go back over to our settings and come down over to find our integrations. So we can just look for those here and then look for our connected apps. We can go over to Clio Manage and say go to settings. And then we can come back here and say sync more data and we can do our deal sync now. So let's go ahead and say next. We can choose which way this goes from here, the data sync between each app. We can choose which one controls. I'm going to say use Clio manage data. We can double check to make sure that all of these different sections are mapping over correctly. We can go to our limit. We can choose our HubSpot pipeline, which is our sales pipeline that we just updated here. And we can map that over to the different statuses within Clio manage. So here we want this to be open. This one we want to have pending, and this one we want to have closed. We can also double check for these sections here and edit anything we want to here. We can then read through any notices here under organize. Then we can go over to review, make sure everything is configured correctly, and then we can say save and sync. Now, whenever there is a new matter or a new contact, either in HubSpot or in Clio Manage, these two systems will talk to each other and make sure they stay aligned with each other. What this means for our overall user journey now is that our starting point is going to be our main websites for our law firm or our company. We have our HubSpot form and booking page that we've linked to this, where if they say contact us, they're taken to a form that feeds that information directly into HubSpot, which then feeds, because of this sync, directly into Clio Manage, which makes it to where we can use that information in any future Gavel workflows that we want to use for this particular contact. So we have carried them now from their initial contact with us, whether through booking a free consultation or through a contact form, into our HubSpot CRM as contacts, which then automatically syncs to our Clio Manage accounts as our contacts, as well as any companies as needed. So that will then lead to us being able to use this contact information in our Clio contacts and matters integration with Gavel. So through these integrations and processes and a little bit of upfront understanding of strategy, we can make sure that we always have a very tightly aligned strategy from beginning to end throughout the user's journey, and that everything is automated and auto synced so we don't have to do anything manual to make these two platforms talk to each other. So that is all for this video, and I'll see you in the next one.